Hello everybody, it's Luther Wilson III here. I'm in the studio today and wanted to talk a little bit about real estate and what I do, some of my experience over the last 15 or so years in that space. And a lot of you may know me already and kind of heard my story, seen me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or at a local meetup here in the Kansas City market. I've been a real estate investor on and off for the last 13 or so years, and I've been a realtor for the last 10 years, and most everything that I've done has been residential real estate investments, assisting investors finding them deals, representing them buying or selling. And then in 2014, I got into leasing, and then from there got into property management. And over the last decade or so, I've helped several investors, mostly with buy and hold single family homes in and around the Kansas City area. Our specialty, or my specialty, is mostly B-class single family homes and some C-class single family homes as well. And it's Monday, June 24, 2024, quarter number 2. Things have changed quite a bit in the market over the last year or so, and a lot of us practitioners, professionals, investors in real estate have been forced to pivot and make adjustments. And so I want to utilize this time to share my story more and put the word out also about what I do, what I've been able to do with my customers, my clients and partners and so forth. As a lot of you know, I grew up in the real estate space. My parents, they're still active in one way or another to this day. My father as a real estate investor the last 34 years, and my mom as a realtor the last 32 years. And so coming up, it was just a regular conversation that I would have with my folks about real estate and what they had going on. And so I learned a lot over the years, and I always knew I wanted to do real estate since I was a kid and in middle school, and just didn't know how or when that was gonna happen. And went off to college, studied entrepreneurship and real estate. And my senior year of college and my first year out of college, hit the ground running with a number of different things in the real estate space. So there's a number of different things I could go over. I want to talk about, what I do today in 2024, what I've been working on the last couple of years as things have changed in the market. A lot of what I do now is assisting investors with seller finance transactions, okay? And then also assisting investors with sourcing and securing financing, all right? So a lot of us are trained as investors, or we're taught or we're coached to early on focus on finding the deals, because a lot of times when that happens, you can attract money, you can attract a buyer, you can attract funding for that type of deal or for that opportunity. And so I spent a couple years wholesaling with a buddy of mine, 2011 and 2012. And I had some odd jobs during that time. I was waiting tables. I was a personal trainer for a few years. And it wasn't until 2014 that I got even more serious about real estate and became a leasing agent for a property management firm here in Kansas City that was managing around 300 doors, mostly single family homes in C-class areas, some B-class areas as well. And then from there grew, to becoming a realtor full-time, doing sales, and then also property management too. So what I learned from my parents, both of my parents did property management in the past as well. So learned a ton from them. And as I got into the business, I learned a ton from my brokers and other agents that I worked with, And I learned a lot also from the investor clients that we had. And along the way, I started to see where there were gaps and where the main pain points were for real estate investors. And of course, I wanted to do investing of my own and grow my own portfolio and do flips as well. But I felt like I needed to get that experience as an operator, as a salesperson. Okay, so I was an agent, a property manager, working with investors for a good 8 years before I started to feel confident or more comfortable asking for money in the form of partnerships. And once I did that, everything changed. So I partnered up with a gentleman out of Canada who I met through Bigger Pockets. That's a neat story that I can get to at a later date. But we connected and we hit the ground running. And that was my first capital investor. And since then, he and I have been able to do 13 transactions together. That was the end of 2019, all right? And so we've been able to build up a portfolio. He and I own 7 single family homes together. And we're looking to take that to the next level. And so once I partnered with a capital investor, we started to explore the different types of funding and financing that's available for real estate investors. The private capital, the hard money loans on a short-term basis, and then also we looked at bridge loans and long-term debt, long-term loans in the form of refinancing. And so as I started to dive into the real estate finance space, looking at private equity and private capital, it opened up a whole other world. And I realized like, hey, that's a niche in and of itself that I was very intrigued by, because I'd been doing seller finance transactions since 2008, 2009. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together, the real estate finance and the creative finance, until 2020, 2021. And I realized the stuff that I learned a lot from my dad and some of my other mentors in regards to the creative financing, there's a lot of correlations with the creative financing and the real estate investor financing. And so now, 2024, I'm a loan broker, of course, helping source and secure capital for real estate investors. I'm still a real estate broker, have my own company, Upside Property Services. So most of my transactions this year, last year, have been seller finance transactions and investor finance transactions. So keep me in mind for that. It's Luther Wilson III, representing for Upside Property Services and Upside Capital. In a nutshell, I help my clients and my partners make money, and we help create wealth, long-term investments, cash flow, residential real estate. So that's me.